What I've learned from so many people is that it's so unique. But ultimately, it's a process for each of us to try and decode that and debug that, because for everybody it's different. You know, do kids learn better when they're at home or in groups, or even adults? You know, like, how do you learn? I know for me in college, it was very different than the way that I learned in high school, and I kept on building kind of that awareness of what worked. For some people, they'll use something like the Pomodoro Technique, which is kind of, Pomodoro is Italian for tomato, and there was a guy that did some research, and as part of his PhD, found that like it was better to work with time slices, since people with ADHD tend to be kind of great with sprints, and they have a harder time with marathons. That's why school is very challenging for them. They'll go and work in 20-minute time slices with 5-minute breaks, or 25-minute time slices with 5-minute breaks. And in that break, maybe they'll go shoot hoops or go to the bathroom or clean something. It can be so many different things, but have a short break and then come back to it. But they'll try and focus on that one thing to be able to accomplish in that small time slice. Music without words can also be helpful. Things without words can help you to be able to be stimulated and focused and on task, not get as bored, and be able to accomplish what you need to within that. It's a process too of figuring out the right location, right? For kids, that can mean, do they do better in the kitchen in front of their parents, in their bedroom? If people get older, is it better in their library at home, or in a coffee shop, or in their office? But it's a process of learning that. Do frequent breaks help? Does standing help? Pairing people with opposites. Like if you have a hard time remaining on task, absolutely find others that don't. Another suggestion I would say is don't go east, which stands for everything at the same time. If you have a project to do, don't try and do everything at the same time. Try and look at how you can chunk it into smaller parts, and that chunking goes a long way. It may be not natural for somebody with ADHD. Maybe that's a good reason why to get some help, whether it's through a learning lab or something like that. But breaking it down into smaller chunks is very important. Sometimes I have clients that actually go as far as using essential oils in their study space, and then they'll put that next to their bed as they sleep, and it goes and like triggers that same memory to be able to go back through it. You know, it's important for you to look too at what distracts you and kind of test and see if you're right. That way it helps you to figure out different self-regulation skills. You're going to want to go and try and take maybe even 10 to 15 minutes per day and review different notes. That's something that I've certainly had different clients do that helps them to be able to feel prepared. A power nap absolutely can be useful, knowing that there's a good limit within that of 10 to 20 minutes at most. Anything like beyond that, 30 minutes, it starts interfering with your sleep. You may wake up even more groggy, is what research seems to point towards. Sometimes this is a little debated, but there's some research that even points to sipping something with glucose in it, which can also sometimes include sugar. It can help with focus. So that's an important thing to be able to note.